Hello, friends. So, you might notice that this episode sounds different already. Number one, the intro is not there. And number two, I'm gonna just record this in one long cut. So, or one long take. Is that how you say it? I don't even know. So we, first of all, I want to start by celebrating how many episodes of this podcast we have done. We're at over 110. I think we're at like 114, 115 episodes at this point, which is just like the coolest thing. Been here for 4 seasons and over 3 years, and this journey has just been absolutely phenomenal. And I'm coming on for this last episode to let y'all know that this is the last episode of Becoming Trauma Informed. And it's a really bittersweet moment, and it's something that I've been thinking about for a while, and specifically how I wanted to end this and why I wanted to end this, because it's not really an ending. So one of the things that's been happening at the Institute is that we have been massively growing. And we've been we've had a lot of people come onto team. We're shifting around roles. We're really growing out of that like toddler. We've gone through all the stages of childhood development, right? Like toddler to tween to teenager. We're really going into this older teen, young adult stage of business where we're getting to make some interesting decisions, and we're really looking at, okay, how is the Institute something of its own? And so one of the things I've been noticing with the podcast is that there's a lot of things that personally I want to say that while they definitely are in alignment with the Institute, they are not the Institute's opinion. And with Becoming Trauma Informed, we really tried to make this about how we at the Institute see things. And so I am ready for a different personal project. The Institute's ready for different projects. And so what is going to be happening moving forward is Becoming Trauma Informed will stay up as a podcast. Y'all will be able to come back and listen to episodes whenever you want, and refer people, all of the things. And I am starting a YouTube show and a new podcast, and they are sisters. So the YouTube show is called That's So Unprofessional, and the subtitle is The Ins and Outs of Leadership with Dr. Lee. And so this is going to be my personal thing. And in it, we're going to have longer interviews, because one of the things that was happening with Becoming Trauma Informed is I realized I really like talking to people for like 2 hours. And with the hour-long episodes, we were kind of having to cut some conversations short just as they were getting really good. And so I'm going to be able to invite back on some previous guests that have been on BTI podcast, and we're going to get more into the nitty-gritty of some things and talk about things in a way that is more raw and real around leadership and around what it means to be a leader, be a professional, be a follower, right? All of these things. So the YouTube show, if you're somebody who's like, I love listening to the podcast and yay, it's going to be longer, I'm so excited. Cool. You're going to get like at least 90 minutes, if not 2.5 hour episodes. Yay. You're welcome. And for those of you who are like, ooh, that's really long, I don't know if that's going to work for me. One of the things that we're going to do at the end of every show is we are going to do a quick 10-minute recap and talk about the 3 biggest things from the conversation that we just had that are the most impactful, like practical, real-time things that people can do, little snippets you can take and like immediately implement, or that can help you shift the way you're thinking or doing things quickly. And so those 10-minute recaps are going to become the podcast. And so the podcast is going to be, like I said, 10-minute episodes with our guests, and it's going to be phenomenal. And that way, if there's anything you want to learn more about, you're going to be able to go straight over to YouTube. We're going to have that specific moment on the show timestamped, the link in the show notes of the podcast. So you can just head over there, listen to that part more in depth. And then if you want to listen to the whole thing, you can, but you don't have to. We really want this to be something that is useful for people in a lot of different ways. And so I am really excited for this venture. Our trailer of That's So Professional, both the show and the podcast, will drop on January 30th, with our first few episodes debuting mid-February. So in the meantime, I'm going to put our social media tags, our handles, in the show notes. You can go ahead and follow us. There's already a video on there. There's a couple reels up, both on Instagram and on TikTok. And you'll be able to go ahead and follow us on YouTube so that you'll be notified when the trailer drops. And then lastly, if you are like, oh gosh, I am going to miss this, I would really love to keep learning about trauma. I would love to keep learning more about what it means to be trauma informed and resilience and being connected. Invitation to come to our TRIPS conference. Y'all, this is going to be phenomenal. Phenomenal. Janae and I sat down, planned out the whole conference, did our finalizing of content. And y'all, we're going to talk you through so many things. And we're going to give you strategy and practical tips that you can, like I said, real time. You can go use these, day one of the conference. If you're like, if you learn something, it's going to be something you can go put into practice right then. We want this to serve you right away. We want this to be something that isn't just abstract and you learn it and you're like, oh, okay, well, that's helpful to know. We want it to be like, oh, this actually changes how I do things for the better. So come join us at the TRIPS conference. This is me just like unabashedly selling to you right now. The amount of value in this 3-day conference is incredible. And look, if you can only do day 1, or you can only do day 3, or you can only do half of day 1, a couple options. 1, buy the replay ticket and have access and come back and watch it. 2, just come for half of it. It's still worth way more than the ticket price. If you're like, oh, my kids are going to be home, or there's this or there's that, like, invitation to just let yourself come and do the thing. Because one of the things we talk about in the Institute's world is done, not perfect, right? Doing 50% of something that massively helps you is better than doing 0% of something that could massively help you because you're like, well, I have to do 100%. So we will drop the link to the TRIPS conference below. For my entrepreneurs who are like, oh, I don't really want to do TRIPS training, we've got something coming for you too. So make sure you're following us on social media. Make sure you're on our newsletter list, however you like to follow people, whether that's email or social, like particular socials, whatever. Get on our list, get on our socials, because we've got something amazing, like so amazing coming for y'all, for the entrepreneurs, for the business owners, for the people who have, based on what you do, the activities you do and how you sell and how you market and how you do the things, that's what determines how much money you make. I'm actually stepping into a new role at the Institute, and it's not really a new role, but we've clearly defined the role as the sales person. I am the person in charge of relationships and sales. And you might be laughing and going, Lee, you've always been that person. Yeah, well, I didn't officially call myself that person. So now I'm officially calling myself that person. And as part of that role, I've come up with a trauma-informed sales process that is freaking phenomenal. Like, think John Nash, Beautiful Mind, whiteboards everywhere. This happened last week, and I looked at the sales process and I was like, oh, this is how I've made nearly $1 million, like myself, like brought in nearly $1 million in the last 7 years in cash. That's not sales, that's cash, right? This is how I've done that. And I've done it in a way that has really fostered beautiful relationships with people. And it feels really good to my nervous system to sell in that way. It doesn't feel sleazy or spammy or weird. It feels like, wow, I'm getting to enter into relationship with people that they're receiving what is beneficial to them, and I'm receiving what's beneficial to me, and I'm giving and getting to give from a place of zone of genius, and they're getting to give from a place of gratitude and appreciation. And so really, I want to teach this to you. So that's coming. And yes, TripsCon will help you if you're an entrepreneur as well, because understanding how and why people get dysregulated, that will make you a better salesperson and a better marketer and a better just general human all around. So you can hop in the TRIPS conference now, and then in a few months when we debut our business entrepreneurship thing that I'm not going to even tell you the name of, you can hop into that too. So yeah, I want to say thank you to all of you who have listened, whether it's to one episode or it's to 100 plus episodes. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for supporting us. We, during the life of this podcast, had over 25,000 downloads, which is a huge deal. So thank you. Thank you if you've referred people. Thank you if you've tuned every Tuesday. And don't worry, we're keeping our show and our podcast, the new one, on Tuesdays. So we're not going to break the Tuesday tradition. And yeah, just thank you. Thank you for being a part of my life. Thank you for being a part of our institute. And I can't wait to move forward with you on this new venture. So we will see y'all on the other side of 2024 in our brand new show and podcast. And it's going to be great. See y'all there.